Congress to put an end to the war in Iraq has sent their approval rating plummeting. As we reported last night, the latest public opinion poll shows only 24% of Americans approve of the job Congress is doing. That's 11 points worse than the approval numbers for President Bush. So tonight, some members of Congress are trying to force a vote and set a date certain for U.S. withdrawal, and say they'll debate all night if they have to. ABC's senior political correspondent Jake Tapper is on Capitol Hill, and he joins us now. Jake?
Good evening, Cynthia. Well, we're just at the beginning of what will be a very long night for the U.S. Senate, with Democrats and Republicans continuing to do battle over the war in Iraq. But as we saw firsthand today, behind the political maneuvering are some real lives and real soldiers. War veterans came to Capitol Hill today. Career Army Officer Tim Connors, seen here in the striped shirt, came from New York. Now serving in the reserves, Connors did a tour in Afghanistan's Kunar province in 2002 and 2003. We caught up with him and the other Iraqi vets for freedom at the American Legion.
We spent probably the better part of 3 years spinning our wheels in Iraq, and we now have the strategy in place with the right leadership team, and the early signs are very encouraging, and I think we just need to give this more time.
With Republican senators increasingly defecting from the president's plan,
we must change our policy in Iraq.
And Democrats pressuring them with an all-night session spotlighting Republican opposition to a troop withdrawal bill, Connors came to Washington, D.C. to urge Republicans not to abandon the surge, which he sees as part of a broader struggle.
And it's not just Iraq. It's Afghanistan with the Taliban. It's the northwest frontier province of Pakistan. It's Manhattan, Glasgow. It's Madrid, London. It's all throughout the world.
Fellow soldier Jon Soltz came to Congress with a colleague today to deliver the exact opposite message.
We have a right to tell these senators that this commander-in-chief's destroyed the Army and Marine Corps. So that's what we're here to do today.
Soltz served as a captain during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003, deploying logistics convoys with the 1st Armored Division.
When you come home from war, you think you're like everybody who's your own age, but you're not anymore. And I had more in common with Vietnam vets than I did my own age.
Soltz now runs a group called VoteVets.org, which lobbies Congress to end the war in Iraq. He came to talk to the handful of wavering Republican senators, such as Ohio's George Voinovich.
We're not coming in here to tell Senator Voinovich he's wrong or bad. We're coming in here to tell him that he's the most important person in this country right now, along with Senator Lugar and Senator Warner. I mean, he's an important man who understands the complexities of Iraq, but we need him to vote.
There were a number of veterans on the Hill today.
I'm so deeply grateful that the Vets for Freedom have chosen this day to come here, because what they are telling the Senate is wake up. Wake up to what is actually happening in Iraq.
Including Connor's friend, former First Lieutenant Pete Hegseth, who served as infantry platoon leader in Iraq with the 101st Airborne Division.
You know, these guys represent thousands of Iraq and Afghanistan veterans who are deeply troubled at the defeatist sentiment emanating from Capitol Hill.
And Iraq veterans against
Outside the Capitol, Army National Guard Sergeant Jeff Millard, who spent 13 months in Iraq, was speaking on behalf of Iraq veterans against the war.
The more that you fund the war, the more troops that will die. The more that you fund the war, the more it's killing the troops, not supporting the troops.
Millard presented a flag and a pointed message to a senior Democratic congressional staffer today.
We're going to let you know about what our campaign is going on right now. It's funding the war is killing the troops. And we're going to be actually asking people from all over America to be sending these into the Democratic leadership. And we do have a flag for you. Adam?
I'm honored to receive this. Thank you.
And we just want to let you know 612 service members have been killed since the Democrats took power. And we want to make sure that no more are. And so we're asking that the Democrats actually cut off funding. There's a lot of power that's held in Democratic leadership in the House.
None of the veterans we spoke to today seem to care too much about the political theatrics going on around them.
Well, tonight they're staying up for 24 hours, and our troops stay up every day for us.
And what does Tim Connors think about the veterans on Capitol Hill today who so strongly disagree with him?
Hey, this is a free country, you know, and we can have those disagreements here, and nobody gets killed for them. And in Iraq, it's a lot different.
It seems unequivocal that all of these men, all of these soldiers are still, in their very different ways, serving their country. And Cynthia, tonight on Capitol Hill, some of those veterans remained watching the proceedings, the debate on the floor of the Senate from the visitors gallery.
Jake, let's take a look at what's happening right now on the Senate floor. Senator Menendez from New Jersey. It's almost midnight. As you can see, the debate goes on. Jake, is it going to make a difference? Is there a chance that what happens tonight is actually going to affect any vote, or is this just political staging?
It's unlikely that it will affect any votes tomorrow, but you have to look at the cumulative effect, Cynthia. 6 months ago, it was considered radical for any senator to talk about a date certain for U.S. troop withdrawal. Now that's mainstream Democratic thought, and tomorrow 3 Republicans at least will vote for that. So the cumulative effect of the pressure the Democrats are putting on the Republicans is certainly having an effect.
Will we see them in those beds, Jake?
I'm sorry?
Will we see them in those beds tonight?
I don't think anybody's going to be in those beds. Those are certainly theatrics. Those are certainly props.